I waste no time in introducing hotelier Adrian Loveridge.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Miss Motley, present and past members of Parliament, senators, all due respect, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to, before I start, say that I've never been a member of a political party. I've attracted the wrath of both parties here from time to time, so I feel I'm as impartial as you'll find anyone. But I have just got, before I go on to my subject, which I honestly admit is the only thing I know anything about on this planet, tourism. But I would make one impassionate plea, whether you've got a red shirt on or you've hidden underneath your T-shirt, you've got a yellow one on or whatever, that just bear in mind, from a voter, I love to vote. I've lived in places which still don't have democracy, and to me it's one of the most cherished things I believe in. Yep. And we are blessed here to have this wonderful system, not a perfect system, but I forget which prominent person said that it's as good as we've got, so let's deal with it. But I would just reach out and say to all the parliamentarians, to the senators, to free-spirited people, think for a moment about the 90,000 people that chose not to vote in the last election, nearly 38%. And they're sending a very, very strong message to you. Yep. And I would just ask you to think about that. And those that that do have power within your hands or expect to obtain it, it's a very important thing when you have a country with such an incredible record of democracy for 38% of the eligible electorate choose not to vote. Now, just a little bit about me, and I'm not saying this from an egotistical point of view, but I just want you to know where I'm coming from. Now, I look a bit different to most of you, but don't let you put that off. In fact, my family have had a presence here since 1685. We were mostly Quakers from the West Country, southern England, and we fought on the side of the Duke of Monmouth against imposing a Catholic king on the English throne. And at that stage, we were given three choices. We could be tarred and feathered, one choice. We could be hung by the notorious Judge Jeffreys, or we could be sent to Barbados as indentured servants. My lot chose the latter option. So, indigenous, non-indigenous, we've been around here for a long time. I've only been here since 1988, and I've spent my entire working life in the hospitality industry. This year, my wife and I will jointly, not individually, jointly celebrate a century, 100 years. And most of it has been in tourism as a travel agent, as a tour director. I've worked in over 70 countries, and also as a tour operator too in the UK and in Canada. In 1988, my wife and I chose to move to Barbados. We bought a derelict hotel called the Arawak Inn, and we spent the next 2 decades turning it into a multi-award-winning hotel that reached the ultimate. And not alone, we had an amazing team, a small team of people, like-minded people that made it possible, achieving #1 in TripAdvisor, which is, I assure you, a very difficult thing to get. So what I'm here for is really to try and put a picture on tourism, how we're doing. And I'm not surprised if you're confused, because almost every day I pick up a newspaper, I hear a news broadcast, how well we're doing, right? A bumper crop over. You can't get a flight into Barbados. Oh, the hotels are full. Goes on and on. In fact, I'm only looking at one from last night. The Trinidad Express quotes our Minister of Finance, and these are his exact words verbatim. The island was beginning to rebound and enjoyed a good winter tourist season last year. Now, what would good winter tourism season mean to you? Would it mean an increase? Would it mean the same? Well, I'll tell you what it does. And all these figures I'm going to quote, which, again, are a matter of public record, They all come from government departments or the CTO, Caribbean Tourism Organization. Well, the last winter, between December and April, we were 18,899 visitors, long-stay visitors down. So would you say that's a good winter? No. In the last 21 months, consecutive 21 months, we have had long-stay visitor declines every single month over 21 months. It's never happened in modern-day tourism history on Barbados before. We were down already 31,421 long-stay visitors in 2012. The figures for December have just been released, and we're down another 23,260. So over the last 2 years, we are down more than 10% of our annual long-stay visitors to Barbados. As if that wasn't bad enough, we've lost over 60,000 airline seats in the last year. 60,000. And it hasn't stopped, because as you know, after so many years operating out of New York, JFK, American Airlines ceased their service from the 16th of January. And while JetBlue have made up some of the shortfall, we're still 20 to 30,000 seats short. So, you know, I tried to put the current state of tourism and our policymakers into some sort of perspective. And I came to the conclusion that they are burying their head in the sand, rather like an ostrich. And I had to check my facts. And did you know that, you know, when an ostrich is threatened, they don't stick their head in the sand at all. They clutch down, they try and get as close to the ground as possible and give the impression that they're asleep. And if they're still threatened, if the tiger or lion or whatever is not convinced, they then run like a lunatic. Because they can run at 40 miles an hour. So unless you're a cheetah, you don't stand an earthly chance. So I thought that our policymakers were like ostriches, but they're not. Because clearly they're awake and they have everything in hand. Now, you've heard a lot about plans recently. Tourism master plan, 10-point tourism plan, APD vouchers, all sorts of things. Well, the 10-point plan on tourism was announced in July and August last year. Do you know, here we are 6 months later in this crisis of tourism, and not one single one has been implemented. You know, it's okay having plans. And then we have no national marketing initiative at the moment. The last one cost $11 million to generate an additional 15,000 visitors who were anticipated to have spent $30 million last year. Well, you've seen the figures. Last year alone, we were down 26,000. And all it's meant, if you actually follow through with this initiative, is that we've paid people that normally come and we've given them a massive subsidy. And if you average that subsidy, bear in mind, you can't get it until you stay for 2 nights, maximum of 7 nights. We've given each and every person that subsidy of 733 Barbados dollars per person. So we've not only not attracted more people, we've diluted the revenue earned from those people that almost certainly would have come anyway. So we have a lot of square pegs in round holes. Now, I don't have a bank account in the Caymans or in British Virgin Islands. I don't have another business anywhere in the world. My sole source of income is Little Peach and Quiet down the road here. And so I have to make it work. I have to pay my bills, even though we're owed tens of thousands of dollars of outstanding NIS and VAT refunds, which have been approved, but we can't get the money. Up to 4 years, we haven't been able to get the money. So little businesses like ours are hanging on by our fingertips, hoping and praying that things are going to get better. But they won't get better until we implement some of the plans that come in. And when And when government then, when the trade association, the BHTA, spends years lobbying for concessions, and I know, I mean, again, I hear this quite frequently. I'm a hotelier. I've endlessly got my hands out. Yeah, of course I have, because the hoteliers here, the indigenous ones, that includes me, have made the biggest, largest investment. We don't have a cruise ship, because if we had a cruise ship and things got tough, we could just pull up the anchor and sail off to somewhere else and fill the ship up there. Our investment is here. It's all here. And we have to pay it, and we have to pay our staff, and we have to pay the 60% increase in water, 72% in electricity, 50% increase in land tax. Now, what government in their right mind increases land taxes by 50% in a recession? Tell me. To me, it's incredulous. So what does government then do? They go out and they give unilateral, extraordinary concessions to sandals. Now, you won't find a hotelier, a tourism operator on Barbados that doesn't want sandals. We all want them because we can see the value. They will add to our destination awareness. They will do a superb job of marketing, and they certainly will attract some people, for sure. I stayed there with my wife last month because I wanted to experience it firsthand. Again, the hotel's full, but there was 40 empty rooms when we were there. And, the hotel's still full to the end of March, but there isn't a single day you can't get at least 5 rooms there until the end of March. But that aside, okay? So we've given these extraordinary concessions, and it's okay, somebody saying, the Minister of Finance saying, okay, you've got 90% of them already, but that's a load of rubbish, quite frankly. Okay, for many of us, we can't access the concessions that sandals have been given. Just put it in simple terms. If you're operating an all-inclusive property and you're serving, say, Johnny Walker, okay, for me to buy a 750 milliliter bottle of Johnny Walker would cost me 120 Barbados dollars. Sandals are able to pay 10 US, 20 Barbados dollars for it. It's a competitive advantage. And it goes right through there. And it's okay if there's a trade-off, if they're buying a whole pile of local stuff. But when I stayed there wasn't a single brand of Barbadian rum available in the hotel. Not at any one of the points. And I made a point, Butch and his son Adam were there, and I got hold of Adam and I said, well, look, this is stupid. I said, we've given all these concessions, our government, the taxpayer, and I can't even have a Mount Gay rum if I want one. And, they say, well, this is the policy. We're serving El Dorado. I said, well, what has the Guyanese government given you? So now I'm happy to say that they do serve it, but not all of it. Some still El Dorado. I suppose when they use that up, there may be a little bit more Barbadian rum there. So unilateral concessions, which has immediately destabilized the other 160 hotels, let alone the condominiums, the villas, the apartments, the guest houses, completely destabilized the industry. You now have people like Elegant Hotels scrabbling around to see how they could possibly compete with the same level that sandals now have. And I probably shouldn't say this because somebody might arrest me, but the hotels have now gone into high gear, and they're thinking of imaginative ways now to eliminate or reduce the effects of this competitive advantage. So that means they'll keep more money offshore. Okay? For sure. They'll bring less money in, and if they bring less money in the hope that they do actually generate profits, that'll mean they'll pay less corporation tax. So it won't benefit the government at all anyway. That's the only weapon that they have until the level playing field. Now, when I stayed at Sandals last month, I asked for a VAT receipt. Very important, even though we don't get it back. When I did the booking, you have to book through a third party. All their payments are processed through companies in the States, Canada, UK. So mine was processed through Unique Vacations in Florida, credit card online. Just a confirmation, no receipt. When I checked out of the hotel, I said, could I have a VAT receipt, please? They said, no, of course you can't. You've paid for this in the States. Now, think of the implications here. If 280 rooms, if they achieve an 85% occupancy rate, which they're predicting, and it's realistic, and their minimum room rate on the website, that will generate around 100 million Barbados dollars. At the lower rate of VAT, 7.5%, that would give government an income of about 7.2 million, right? Now, if they're not collecting VAT, because the payment is not being made in Barbados, we're not even getting the VAT. So, these have to be addressed, and we have to look again. And just to go back through the figures again, 21 consecutive months of long-stay visitor decline. Last year, 10 of 12 months recorded the lowest long-stay visitors over the last 11 years. Fact. Bumper crop over, it was the lowest number of long-stay visitor arrivals we had in any July in the last 11 years. Likewise with December, and likewise with every month apart from 2. So if any of you think tourism is doing well, think again. And I just implore that we've got to get past this thing. If we really seriously think that tourism is our business, and this is going to be the lifeline to economic recovery, then we have to start treating it a little bit more seriously. And we have to put the people in there that can make the difference. And I don't care if they're wearing a red shirt, a yellow shirt, or any other colour shirt, because it's too important. 25 years of my life has been spent here with my wife and our little team to build up a business. We don't want to see it destroyed because people are making stupid, ill-informed decisions. And if that means a change of government, so be it. Because look around us. What else do we have? Everything is interdependent on tourism one way or another. Even my friend Alistair here, which we shared on the board of the BTA for a little while till we revoked, weren't we? No, we got other jobs, didn't we? That's right. So even the vendors to a certain extent depend. My little hotel, when we're open, we have local vendors in there, people that make soap, candles, make arts and crafts. It all helps the economy, and we have to help ourselves and bring the economy up. But it will not be done if we keep on making these ill-informed, stupid decisions. Again, as I said, I babbled on a little bit. I've got about 3.5 minutes left, and I would ask any of you, if you do have any questions at all, please ask me. I'd attempt to answer if you have any particular concerns about tourism. Gosh. Okay, thank you very much. Again, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I have to, I've got to be in bed by 10 o'clock. My wife told me so. So thank you for inviting me. Again, very important tourism. Don't let it die, please.